going on? What's going on? Welcome in. It's the Black Man Unfiltered Network. This is the One and One Sports Show. I am Dante,
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Shawnee.
and so we got some good stuff for y'all this week. It's even though it's May, it's a lot. The sports calendar is pretty packed, and but going on for today's episode, we're gonna start it off with something that in May you normally not getting much as far as topics, but with the transfer portal, it does tie into both topics we're going into. And to start off with, if you haven't heard, for college football fans, Jordan Addison is a Biletnikoff winning the wide receiver that won the Biletnikoff Award. If you're not familiar with that, that's award is awarded to the best receiver in college football,
hmm
and he won that award at the University of Pittsburgh, and he was playing with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, was taken by the Steelers in the draft, and they brought in a pretty good guy from USC to be his quarterback. But it doesn't seem to be that's the problem. Is not that he doesn't have a good quarterback coming to him. It's been reported that he wants to get drafted and he wants NIL money. And I'm not sure of the package that he has currently, but normally it's kind of, to me, it's similar to what a coach does when every offseason, a coach that, say, a school like Pitt, which is a perfect example, maybe the coach over at Penn State is not there, and that's in the same region, and they want him. So if they flirt with him
hmm
and interview him, he gets a pay raise. Well, Jordan Addison won the Biletnikoff Award. And he's doing the same thing and saying, hey, I'm going to test the transfer portal. But what the problem seems to be is the purists of college football don't like it. They don't like the transfer portal in general. And it's been reported that he went to, well, it's a fact. He went in on campus visit with Texas yesterday. He posted with
hmm
the Raising Canes. He was with Bijan Robinson, which was perfect, which no coincidence, Bijan Robinson endorses Raising Canes. So for him to be eating it and thinking, hey, you can endorse this too, and for the fact that some people still say Alabama and Texas are just added, USC is the play. That's the play, and he's going to go play with Caleb Williams. They were reporting he was going to get $2 million, but from the insiders are saying that's a no go. And to add to the story, the receivers coach that he won a Biletnikoff Award with is at Texas now.
So my thing is because when you told me about him earlier, that was my first time hearing about that particular player. But as for the NIL as a whole, I'm down for players, making money off the field as far as sponsors or whatnot. The NCAA tried as long as I can remember, well, hell, since they existed, really, was student athletes. They always wanted to emphasize student athletes, student before the athlete. So they didn't believe that students should be getting paid for their play on their field or court. And now we in a time where athletes now can go out, get deals, and and get incredible money. I forgot the young man from South Lake High School, and he got a
Quinn
huge and
Ewers,
yeah, he got a huge deal. He haven't played a down yet in college football.
two big
So
deals. He got big money at Ohio State. That's why he left school early.
yeah, he just who just can't show out of high school and just so. But my whole thing is because I heard this randomly on when I was listening to the ESPN station, and I believe it was Greeny, and he was going on just a little rant about it. And he brought up the point to how coaches in the past. So you remember when a player in the past wanted to transfer,
Yeah,
coaches would literally okay, yeah, you could transfer, but you're not going to transfer here, you're not going to transfer there. They'll control where they go.
yeah,
Then if the player wanted, if they still want to transfer, they'll send them. Like if that coach didn't want that player to go to another, say they was in the SEC conference, he said you can't go to any SEC school, but you can go over here to the Big 12 or whatnot, something like that. They was controlling where they were going,
yeah.
and now with the transfer portal, now the players are the coaches was doing that since the beginning of the time with all the student athletes. Now with hey, what's up, Marcus?
What's going on,
With this
Marcus?
transfer portal, now they they put the power in their own hands. As you can see, Addison right now, he's going around doing his own free agency tour. Is what he's basically doing.
Basically.
And the old school, just student athlete, really college football. Even though I say student athletes, really college football is really the only one that's really testing these waters. I mean, you may hear about it in other sports, but all these schools make all their money off of college football. That's why when they change in conference or whatnot,
Yep.
it's really because of college football. So you put the power back in the hands of the athlete, and I'm all down for that. My only caution is, man, you are these players are potentially getting 6-figure, maybe even 7-figure deals, and they literally basically just coming out of high school. So it's like the maturity, the financial maturity. I mean, I don't know how can it be there because unless they, even if they came from a rich household, they was never really managing the money. It was their
Nah,
parents.
not at all.
So it can really set them up for failure. I mean, they're gonna have to really get somebody in their corner they extremely trust to manage that money for them because you putting all this money in the hands of an 18-year-old. It's no different with an 18-year-old with a lottery. They'll spend it on whatever. And sometimes when you get that much money, it can do more harm than good because it'll put you in an incredible amount of debt. So that's what I'm worried about. But I'm all for them going to NIL and the transfer portal. I don't really care too much about transfer portals when a player kind of scared of a competition. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't be. I'm not guaranteed this starting position, so I'm gonna go transfer to a school where I know I can play. I was like, that follows. I mean, you can't compete. So it's a pros and cons to it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one because when it comes to guys like competing, and I know a lot of people say that, but it's like for the most part, you see it at the quarterback position. But
Yeah,
it's something that's happened for years. Like
yeah,
for instance, everybody looks at the Cam Newton situation, and I'm gonna tie it in and think, oh well, he left because of this. Well, part of the reason he left because of that was he really gonna get a shot under the great, wholesome, all the stuff he does, and the play on the field, Tim Tebow. But when
yeah,
you saw Cam Newton get his shot, he was a better player. He didn't get to do it as long, but he was. In 1 year, he took Auburn from nothing to winning the SEC and winning the national championship, and he played with one other pro. So it's one of those deals. Sometimes that happens, and under the old regime of college football, a guy like him would sit and wait forever, and then maybe he'd have a big senior year if he got the shot. If they hadn't already brought in another freshman, that they're like, well, let's get him some season, and he only got 1 year left. Maybe we'll do a timeshare. You guys don't have to sit through that. So I understand it from the quarterback's perspective. Me personally, if I had a son that, well, my son would have played running back, for one thing, I would be like, don't play running back. for starters. What's up, Sally? I would tell him, don't play running back. But if you did, go to somewhere where the guy is a junior that's pro eligible. You play under him, you get less wear and tear, and then you go and take over and you get more carries. Or if you're a quarterback, hey man, don't go. Quinn Ewers talking to you. Don't go where C.J. Stroud is. He has 2 years before he's eligible for the draft, and you just going in and taking the NIL money, and it's just like, because now if it doesn't work at Texas, you've used your one chance to transfer. So I don't have an issue with that. What I have an issue with the transfer portal is everyone having the negative connotation on it, and like things can't be figured out. Like you were saying, Shiny, like you were worried about the money, but you weren't saying don't do it. I mean, it works out in situations where what's the guy that plays for the Rangers that had issues? Matt Bush. Matt Bush got all that money at 18 years old, and he's an adult playing in the minor league system, and devices and things got to him. To Josh Hamilton, there are stories upon stories, but it's just like that. MLB figured it out, and college football is essentially it's a semi pro sport. I mean, with the money they bring in, they're really professional. And so it's like, I don't have a problem with those guys getting paid. Jordan Addison, it's going to be interesting to see, was this a dog and pony show? They're going to try. They already ran to Congress to try to legislate this. So it's a deal where it's like, hey, they got to go ahead and get this figured out. And so once they get it figured out, I'm just hoping that I'm just hoping they don't ruin it. I'm hoping they don't be like, hey, let's put some parameters on this. They're trying to stop it, but it's just like, man, look, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. They're gonna get their money. You know, coaches get to leave and go and transfer and do their thing. You just have to deal with it and compete, because, and tying into our next story, everyone talks about the good side of the transfer portal that's positive, but I was reading about the situation at Grambling, and it's a part of the negative. The coach has 13 new players coming in. And that's why, you know, if you hadn't heard or familiar with the situation, Coach Chelsea Lucas, she's actually a Grambling State alum, and I know that had to be gut wrenching to be like, we got an alum, they're coming in, the coaches, and from what I've read, she talked to each individual player and let them know, hey, you're not going to be coming back. And she does have 13 new players coming in, some of them from her old regime. I didn't get the numbers of all the players that are coming. But when Shani, we were talking about this, it made me think. I saw another article. I kept seeing that the players were so upset. I told you a player from Grambling transferred to Prairie View, and she had it. But one player was a senior, and she was like, she's trying to go to medical school. So this is going to throw off her plans to graduate. And it's one of those deals to where, like, the coach, and it was kind of cold-hearted the way she said it, but contracts are renewed. You know, this aren't what's going on, Darrell? There aren't 4-year scholarships. That fairy tale of, oh, I got a 4-year ride. No, it is a 1-year renewable ride. So just like the coach said, the transfer portal is a good thing for freedom, but it's also a deal where I'm going to go find players I need. I'm going to bring them in, and now you're left, you know, in a tough situation. And my heart goes out to those young ladies, and I hope they get their situation straight, because I know 4 of them were for the Houston area, and I saw that story on Crime.com, and I was like, ooh. You know, and it makes it tough. It's like making your decision is more important than ever, not just to go by this coach, but also to pick a place where you feel comfortable. And even if it's, unfortunately, without athletics, will I still want to go here?
Yeah, because this story happened about
About a month ago?
Yeah, so a month ago. And recently, I think it was just yesterday, it made national headlines when they got on First Take. And when they was talking about it, they was really, you know, going at the Grambling program, especially the AD, because they tied it to what happened with the football team and them hiring Art Browse as offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Grambling, yeah, Shelly. And when they hire Art Browse, knowing, you know, basically Art Browse, basically now he's marked.
You don't hire.
And, yeah, he's don't hire. They tried to hire as OC at an HBCU where Browse was recently at with Baylor, and how it was just, you know, all that back end story with Browse. So they caught a whole lot of heat for that, to the point where Browse, he just, you know, he stepped down.
Yeah.
So fast forward now to the volleyball team, and you know, the new coach comes in and just literally just cuts everybody. So now the ladies have to find out where they're going to go, how they go get their scholarship back, and all of this and all that. So, yeah, just unfortunately, you don't really hear too much about HBCUs on a national stage, really, until Dion really started coming. But unfortunately, with this volleyball, it just, I think the people who know about collegiate sports, like you were saying about the whole scholarship, is not unless they tell you, oh, it's a 4-year scholarship, but you know, you renew it year to year to year. But to the average person, you know, they look at that, they just see a coach come in and cut everybody. You know, so
yes, Ellie, they have been having problems for years.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, the football team was like protesting because of the athletic facilities and things like of that nature. So yeah, it's been a lot going on the PR side for them. And then I mean, I'm not complaining about it. Some of their programs, as far as the football side, is, you know, come down from the historic rate that it has been and things of that nature. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully, you know, them as a HBCU, a prominent HBCU, and you know, hopefully they kind of can get the ship righted. But I really feel like it's a situation where people were it is a big deal that it happened, but it's something that sometimes people, like you said, don't know the inner working of college sports. It's players coming in, players coming out. So what's going on, Marcus?
What up? What up? What y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Yeah, man, we was
Fine,
just
fine.
well, I'm sitting here, of course, doing the show, and I got of course, the Celtics and the Bucks are playing right now in a pretty good game. But we was discussing wrapping up about Grambling State volleyball team, excuse me, and how they were basically the entire 19 players were allegedly released, and they were bringing in other players, and so yeah, it was tragic, Sally. So we was talking about that, and of course, with you coming in was right on time, man. We'll get ready to transition into some basketball. I saw what you said last night in the chat. And you was telling me about the Warriors, and I was gonna save it for today. Hey, man, it's feeling real 2015-ish for those Warriors.
I said it. I said it before.
It's feeling real 2015-ish. The injuries left and right, man. Shawnee was just mentioning it. They every team that happens, but they seem like they kind of benefit from it. And Jordan Poole is a really good player and a great story. I hate that you were reaching for the ball, you grabbed his knee. Like, I would like some explanation from that, but it's not like he was like, "Hey, I'm about to make his knee make him get a knee bruise."
Yeah,
his
I don't
his
think he
publicist
was
won't
reaching
allow
for
him
the
to
ball.
speak.
Yeah, he was reaching for the ball. Like somebody mentioned, I think. I mean, I guess it gives the fans to get a chance to look at the action. But I also think one of the worst things that they use on TV now is the slow motion replay.
Oh,
Because
just feel like a
now,
narrative.
yeah, because now when you saw Poole grab his legs and you make it think like they have, because in real time, that thing is just bam, bam. And
Yeah,
Poole at the Poole at that time, he was poking at the ball.
yeah,
So, and then it looked like he was just retracting his hand back,
yeah, and he hit his
and it
knee.
just
And
kind of got his leg.
but
He was trying to get the ball, but on slow mo,
yeah,
it looks
it
like his
looked like
hand coming back,
yeah,
and they grabbed his leg, and so he like, man, all that don't go through his head. They mind. They trying to
yeah,
compete and go after the ball. So
yeah,
the slow motion sometimes will create a narrative when you play sports, stuff just happens bang, bang, bang.
boom.
And so I didn't think it was intentional because, like I say, right before he grabbed his knee, he was literally trying to poke that ball away. And then, they got to hurry up and retract their hand back, or if he hits him, it's going to be a foul since he already
Yeah,
reached it. So, yeah, I think it was just unfortunate. It didn't look that I mean, it didn't even look like he grabbed him or anything. That almost like a freak accident to me.
it was probably it was a freak accident, but it's the fact of the thing that's gonna let him off the hook. Really, he's missed a lot of games with his knee, and that's the biggest
Yeah,
thing. Like, and I know
that
like a
same
lot of people
knee.
saying that last week he's a superstar. I was like, look, that's the thing that might stop him from becoming a superstar is injuries, and that's gonna really looking back, it's gonna suck for the NBA to have that talent hole. Because I was talking with someone online, they was like, man, these last couple of classes, they really set the league up. Like we've said it, and we barely mentioned KD and LeBron, the old guard, we barely mention them. And it's because it's like we got new players and we able to see them, but it's just like injuries from the top two picks might just really derail like a really good class because RJ Barrett is still developing and other players from that class as well. But it's just an unfortunate situation. It's unfortunate because that was gonna be the best series, but now it's clearly the Celtics and the Bucks, which I think it's a 3-point game right now, and they're going at it. But they and I've heard people like from Bomani Jones from ESPN and other people, Charles Barkley on the TNT crew, they're gonna have to fix the replays of the fouls. Yeah, it looks like you're gonna have to add Zion Williamson and Ja Morant to that list, Sally, because it's off to a bad start. I would say Zion worse than Ja Morant, but he's at least playing. He played at least 50, 60 games this year, or around that amount. And Zion missed all 82, so that's just.
Yeah,
But
but I'm kind of surprised, but not really, because they are a good team. How Milwaukee is playing against Boston without a key player. My whole thing the last series, Boston, they beat a team that basically played one on one.
Yeah.
They wasn't moving the ball. It's just basically KD. Okay, you're not making it, Kyrie. We'll try to do something. Okay, we may pitch it out to somebody. It's just one on one. A lot of times when you play against Brooklyn, maybe that would change once Simmons played. Whenever he plays, they was kind of flowing a little bit better when Harden was their point guard at the time. But
Yeah.
since he's gone, it really just goes to one of them two, and then the occasional kick out to somebody else. But Milwaukee, they play true, even though Giannis is the main focal point, but they play true team ball.
Yeah.
You got two teams literally going at each other, and you see how well Milwaukee is.
Giannis is the new dominant force.
Yeah. And they doing that without Middleton, who I think if they had Middleton, they would have. Of course, I don't think they would have lost that last game. But
yeah, no, I don't. That's the thing. He is the closer. He's the closer, and also as part of being the closer, stuff like this. I would say I was watching it, and I can't remember who the crew was, and they was just like, "Man, that's 2 possessions in a row. Giannis didn't touch the ball." And while Middleton might be a closer, it's like, look, I'm gonna get the top guy the ball, and then after that, then I can run some ISO. Then I can run some stuff to get me going. But it's just like it's one of those deals, like I think they can beat the Celtics, but I'm thinking the winner of this series is probably going to the finals. And as a Lakers fan, I'd hate to see the Celtics go to the finals. So I talked a bunch of crap about them earlier this year.
Well, guess what? It's gonna be the Celtics and the Warriors.
You know what?
Celtics and Warriors, or what? Or Warriors and Bucks? One of those.
Now, what is his name? I'm trying to think of it. Draymond Green is going to play a lot of the 5. And then sometimes they're gonna play as far as the 5. They're gonna play. They're gonna play a mix of his name, Looney, Kevon Looney. So Kevon Looney is gonna play a lot of 5. How are they gonna be able to handle DeAndre Ayton? Because you can see Steven Adams, they're poking the ball away from him in the post, and he can't just dominate. He's more of a rebounder and defensive presence. What's going on? What's going on, Simon? But how are they going to handle a skilled big like Ayton in the post? I see foul trouble, and Draymond can get as many tricks as he wants to. I think Ayton has too much of a height advantage, and he's going to be able to kill them in the paint. That's what Chris Paul is going to know. Hey, their weakness is inside. We're going to get him the ball, because that's the thing. I know everyone.
But here's the thing, though, right?
Go ahead.
Like, here's the thing. Well, the Warriors, they can and they will get past the Suns. Obviously, only because Chris Paul, he's not that guy when it comes against the Warriors. He's not that guy. He's not. When it comes to the Warriors as a collective. Even though the Warriors don't have like a super big team, they're still out rebounding. The last series and this series, they're out rebounding both teams. And the Grizzlies, I believe it or not, last I checked, they were leading the league in rebounding. So now
you're going with the fact that he doesn't play well against them historically, but he has,
yes.
In the playoffs have the Warriors.
And remember this too, DeAndre Ayton, he's not a Giannis. DeAndre Ayton is not a Giannis. He's not a LeBron. He's not any of these types of cats. DeAndre Ayton has his Achilles heel.
What's
right? That? The fact that he can't close out a game. He's not a closing center. Because if no offense, but the thing is, if the Warriors play the Bucks, then the Bucks can win. If the Warriors play the Celtics, then the Warriors have a chance to win the finals. The Warriors do not have a player to be able to lock down Giannis. They just don't.
Well, okay, so what has impressed you from the Warriors' run? Because I'm going to be completely honest with you. Out of the 2 games, it's one of those deals where I know championship DNA, but it could have been 2 old Grizzlies. And John Morant, John Morant was killing them. So on the perimeter, hate to break this news to you. Did you see Klay Thompson going up against John Morant? And what is Klay Thompson? An all NBA level of defender. Hey man, he didn't want none of that smoke with that guy. And while John Morant is one of the most explosive players in the league, I mean, what is Devin Booker gonna do to you? I'm not the biggest Devin Booker fan, but he's gonna be able to get his shots off and do his thing. And Chris Paul is gonna manage that game.
The thing is that Chris Paul is not John Morant. Chris Paul is not John Morant.
but Mikal Bridges is what was he, second in the league for defensive player of the year?
Yeah, damn, he's locked down.
It's that's a big wing, and Klay Thompson has not been the Klay Thompson we used to, and it's expected. Everyone's glad to see a player back, but let's be honest, this is a ACL and this is an Achilles tear. Those are two difficult injuries for lateral movement and that's what makes you good on defense. And he runs around screens. He's had a lot of really those cold games, but it's been covered up because it's a 3-1 lead, and they've been able to win. When they go up against,
don't be surprised if Klay comes out next series. Watch, because this series right now of the Grizzlies, it's over. It's over.
It's over. It's 100%
It's over. Watch. This is gonna happen. The Grizzlies are gonna win Game 5. Grizzlies are gonna win Game 5, but when they come back home, the Grizzlies will win Game 5. They'll win one more, but then they'll close it out in 6. The Warriors will go close it out in 6. Maybe they might close out in Game 5, but I'm thinking Game 6, just to be sure, just to be safe. And then, after that,
no, I'm just saying the Grizzlies could have won last game, but they showed their youth. They took, I believe it was Brooks. Brooks took that ill-advised. He took this 3 early in the clock. It was bad shots. So that's what down the Grizzlies. Their youth showed up, and of course, you going against a skilled team or whatnot. And like they always say, matchups. Yeah, just matchups make the Grizzlies are they are physical and they can make shots.
Yeah.
So they are a tough matchup for the Warriors. They're athletic, they're physical, and they can make shots. So the Warriors literally have to fight them tooth and nail just to win these games.
Who's more physical, Grizzlies or the Suns?
Grizzlies.
That's
what they do. That's what they do. I mean, Aiden is a nice player, but he's skilled, but he's an offensive player. Steven Adams is straight. I'm gonna knock you right. I mean, obviously,
it's really because of Adams. Yeah, it's really because of Adams.
Even if it's past the line, Dylan Brooks, that foul he did past the line, that's the kind of play that they're going to give them. So I will say the Warriors will get a break as far as that style of ball, but are they going to be able to? Basically, and I love Steph. Is he going to be able to have one of those conference finals to where it's like he's averaging 33 points a game and he's carrying them? Because you got to do it because you don't know what you're going to get from Steph. I mean, you're not going to know what you get from Klay, and then it's not right to put Jordan Poole in that position that he has to carry the offense like that. And of course,
he got to step up. It's his turn now.
I mean, it's his turn, but if Steph pulls off one of those games, but I just think Chris Paul is going to be able to control the pace and the pace because of all the players on the floor. He's the guy with the point guard abilities that's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say like
this so much. I mean,
this is a sports show. This is a sports show.
Traditional. I grew up watching my dad, so that's where my love started. But I appreciate you checking in, man.
But real quick though, all right. Let's say hypothetically, right? The Warriors and Suns meet obviously next round.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the Suns beat them. Who can the Suns beat the Celtics more, or can they beat the Bucks again, or will it be the same thing? Because what will happen then?
I think the Suns stand a good chance against anybody. Like I'll turn the corner on them, just looking at them more, especially since here in the Metroplex, it's been a big scope on them because they're playing the Mavericks. But then looking at them up close and seeing them so much, it's like, you know what? They got the wings that can kill you. They got a center. They got 2 centers. Well, 3 centers they can rotate in to give them quality minutes at center, and they got enough shooting. Well, guys like Cam Johnson, Dre Crowder is spotty. That's another versatile defender, and he can He
got injured.
He injured. I mean, is he? I mean, but that's the thing with them.
His shoulder. He got a shoulder injury yet last game.
Yeah, but they have depth, and I want to say I would rest him. I would rest him against the Mavericks game 6 because you got game 7 in your pocket. Now, the only thing is you might want to worry about the rest of the Warriors, but I mean, at this point, I don't think they're a team that's super old. Only super old people are like Chris Paul, JaVale McGee, guys that they manage their minutes. So you got Sally say Suns ain't coming out the West.
Exactly, Sal.
Warriors believer, man. I mean, I'm not saying it's a crazy take. I'm just from watching the regular season and how they played. I don't know if the Warriors got enough. Like, because I really think it's somebody that nobody's gonna bring up, but whatever James Wiseman could give you in the playoffs as a big, that's the one. You said the Metroplex, Dallas Fort Worth. That's why I live in Fort Worth, so that's why I was saying in the Metroplex here. There's been a lot of focus on the Suns because the Metroplex is really excited to see can the Mavs. You know, I think they should. I'm not a Mavs fan. They should be glad to be out the first round. But if they were to beat the Suns, they should just go crazy because that would be improbable.
This is their first time out the first round since what? 2011.
Yeah. And I can say it because they're down in the playoff series. I mean, I'm so damn tired of hearing about them sweeping the Lakers. It's like, bro, y'all are really holding on to this decade. It's over a decade ago. Like, bro, we get it. Dirk had one of the greatest runs we've ever seen.
Against LeBron, he shut down LeBron.
Yeah, but see, they get to that second. They always say, well, swept the back-to-back champs, swept the reigning champs, then they swept KD, Russ, and Harden. And then they go into they tell the whole story. I ain't gonna lie to you. They tell the whole story, but they focus on that second round. Because I ain't gonna lie, nobody will admit it, but all the local people.
I know. I just like to rub it in LeBron's face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to. But everybody thought that they were just gonna get beat by the Lakers. They was like, yeah, that's not a good matchup. They was like, and they were kind of late. They weren't easy about it. You can't really find too many people. Well, I mean, now it's like, oh, they were gonna do it. Now I'll say it, but I didn't have a show then. I have one sports show, Black Man, Unfiltered Network. I didn't have it to say that if you looked at it, they had the advantage at coach, they had the advantage at center, and they had the advantage of point guard. And when you go back and look at it, all those things led to them leading that, and LeBron having probably the worst performance of his career in the playoffs.
Also, you had the best uprising star out of that series, which is Jason Terry.
I wouldn't put him as uprising star.
Yeah, he was a good player.
He was a good player for a long time.
No, well, what I mean is he rose to the occasion.
He rose to the occasion. Yeah, he rose to the occasion. Yeah. I'm trying to think of another player who was similar like that. Wasn't a big star.
Deshaun Stevenson.
Yeah. Hell, even Tyler Hero for the Heat last year. Not last year.
2 years ago when they went to the finals. I mean, as quiet as it's not quiet, but he was a player that the Rockets wanted in the package for Harden, and I was like, and I know the Celtics have continued to have success. Sometimes you got to look at that guy and you really got to gauge: is this guy a superstar in the making? If not, and they ask him for a deal for a superstar, go ahead and trade him. Now it worked out for the Heat. Well, to be honest, I think a place like Miami would have been great for James Harden to be like, you have to meet this regimen of standards. Because that was good for LeBron to be like, okay, you're not going to run everything. We're going to run it. And then, of course, LeBron stayed in shape. So that was gonna work out in that regards. But the structure and things like that can really help certain players depending on how things go. Because one of the things that was bad for LeBron was coming to LA and us, the Lakers, being so dysfunctional. And it's like, oh, well, y'all can't really get things handled. And so we're going to do this, this, and this. And then to trust him, like, they made the changes after winning the chip. And I was like, cool, they were good changes.
They are who we thought they were. That's what the saying in sports.
But and you can say that, but you can also say that was a 60 day ended from the end of October until December. I don't even think it was 60 days, and when they started the season, so you had a quick rerun. And you had to quick go back, and so the Lakers were actually top seed in the West, and then the injuries started happening. And injuries are probably just now going to level out because this is going to be the first regular offseason we've seen in years.
Yes,
listen.
The Lakers can keep that. The Lakers can keep that perfect attendance, half a chip trophy. That's fine.
You can call it whatever you want, but it's 17 banners hanging up there. Unlike the team that we're playing now.
No. 16 and a half.
Nah, it's 17.
I don't know why people hate on that bubble championship, man. That was a hard thing to get.
Like somebody said it
today. That was a hard thing to get.
If Jimmy Butler wins that ring with the Heat,
If the Heat don't get injured, it could have been 7 games.
They'll still be throwing stones at LeBron if the Heat.
They would have listen. If the Heat did not get
up.
injured, because the Heat were a broken team by Game 6.
I mean, they could. I mean, hey, you can make it. You can say anything you want. I tell you, who they wouldn't have said nothing about winning the championship in the bubble.
That's cool. That's cool.
Michael Jordan.
Listen, us fans will let you have that. Us fans will let you have that.
That bubble championship was just extremely hard because
mentally,
a professional athlete is a creature of habit.
It was extremely hard to watch because I wanted to throw up. That's
man, you had to you play your regular season, all of a sudden that just stopped. And then also, okay, we're gonna resume the season, but we're gonna resume it in a place where you literally you play ball, go to your room. Play ball, go to your
Y'all
room.
Remember that what's the NFL catchphrase? Playoffs? You want to talk about playoffs? Really?
Man.
They were it was, to be honest, at the time, it was really good because we didn't have much normalcy. And I know I enjoyed it not just from the standpoint my team won, but from the standpoint of just seeing sports back. Like, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I probably never would have saw the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance.
That participation trophy looks real nice right now.
Took advantage of that. They took advantage of that.
They took advantage of it, and like they would have dropped it in the summer, and I would have saw some things because it's like I already know everything I need to kind of know from that story, so I probably wouldn't have tuned in, and I'm not.
You know why? Because that's goatness right there. That is goatness of a documentary. I give him his
props. He's definitely that. I mean, he's definitely that. But it's kind of like all right. The best way I can put it with Jordan is this. We don't go back and look at and we fantasize on old musical artists we had and old movies and different things, but we don't look back for movies 25 years ago and be like, man, that's still the greatest movie ever. No, we go see the new Marvel.
I don't know, because Goodfellas is still good.
No, Goodfellas is still good. We don't sit around and just be like, oh, we know there's been other great gangster films. We know there, and then like we know for a fact, hey, we love this movie. Our Godfather aged well. It turned 50 this year, and it's still a cinema masterpiece. But we don't. But because of the way marketing works, and because he downplays it, but it's like, bro, I just bought your shoes. It says inspired by the greatest player ever. Like, no, bro, you want us to continue to do that.
So disrespectful. It hurts my feelings.
Marcus, I got a fun fact for you. Do you know why Michael Jordan released the footage that they had for years? Guess when he released it?
It was in 2020, right?
No. Guess why he decided to let them start editing it? They had the footage. When did he decide to put the footage out there?
Oh, it was during the pandemic when the players were on lockdown.
No. Before that, they already had it ready to release. They were going to release it that summer, but they released it early. Yes, Sally, that is the correct answer. LeBron had came back from the 3-1 lead against the Warriors, and he was like, I don't want them to forget about me. Go ahead and put that documentary out there.
Let's be fair. Draymond got suspended Game 5 because LeBron got his feelings hurt for a word. Because of a word. Listen, Shaq wasn't crying complaining about that stuff. Kobe wasn't complaining about that stuff. Michael Jordan wasn't complaining about that stuff. So why should LeBron complain about that stuff?
Man, because my thing is this, man. I give Jordan this.
I get you. No. I know your answer. Because his feelings got hurt. That's what Klay Thompson said. I guess his feelings got hurt.
Man, I'll say about that whole series. Warriors had Game 7 at home. They should have. They had Game 7 at home at a time when Oracle was the Oracle. That they was, Cavs went in there and took it from them.
League.
Exactly.
Listen, they were up 2-1, right? They were up 2-1, and then that's when all of a sudden they lose that game. It was
a 3-1.
No. I'm saying right before they got that.
For Green.
On Game 4, when they were up 2-1, and then all of a sudden, just because he said a certain word, he got in his feelings, and said, hey, he wrote a letter to the NBA and said, hey, I can't play with that guy. He's too mean. He says bad things.
I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it was about the flagrant foul points. I hear you, Marcus, but I'm pretty sure
he had points.
That's another reason why 90s basketball was legit basketball, because they were rough.
Pause.
Nah,
Let's pause. I can read you some scores of some games, and you wouldn't watch that game.
Because the defense was
we
defense.
romanticize it. Better yet, we saw it doing the Last Dance. What was the game where the Bulls blew out the Jazz? The Jazz scored like 60 points. It's like, nah, bro. Like some of this is ain't enough.
That's called lockdown defense.
A lot of people would like to romanticize that era, but they say that era they had to change the rules. They wanted more offense because, I mean, each era, the 90s didn't score as much points as they do now. The 80s, the 70s, it was, just going back. They had to change the rules, one, just so it could bring more interest. And like Dante was talking about, some of them games was kind of low scoring. And those games would not fly today.
Nah.
So
I said
when
they're so sensitive nowadays, ticky-tack fouls now.
Well, that's just the game is called. The players they don't really have nothing to do with that. The game
was they look at the refs. Look at the refs like, hey, he tried to hold my hand, foul.
Yeah,
well, that's how they call it. That's what
at the same time, with the rules, if you look at the way the game was played today, and I know people love to say it, I say it like this: there are some players that really wouldn't have had roster spots in today's game, and there's players in today's game that would have been tough to make a roster in the days of yesteryear because there are some guys that just don't fit. There's some guys that just don't fit. But if you want to, if you think that like a LeBron would have been crying, just himself to be able, banging in contact. Hey, I don't know. Now, freelance, the mailman.
Quiet, J Bug. Quiet. The mailman. Really? You gonna disrespect the mailman?
On him very much for different reasons, but I think he's a player that he was good enough that athletically he could have, like, as an athlete, he would have been somebody that could have played today. But some guys, and I've heard Bomani Jones say this, man, there were some guys in the old leagues. It was like, what did they do? Oh, they fouled hard and they rebounded. Like because defense wise,
it was the true word of the true meaning of a goon.
All I'm saying. Listen, you put LeBron's team versus Michael Jordan's team in their prime. Michael Jordan's taking that serious for the chip.
Okay, you got Jordan and Pippen, two lockdown defenders.
Here's my thing with the Jordan thing.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the excuse.
Jordan, can we bring up the fact that we were robbed something and it was just an unfortunate circumstance?
Are you talking about 2015? Are you talking about 2015 when LeBron's Cavs were hurt?
No, I'm talking about that we never got to see Jordan versus Hakeem's Rockets. Because if you look at Hakeem Olajuwon,
that's what people talk about. You never hear
you and Shawnee as a Rocket fan. Have you ever regretted the fact that y'all didn't take Jordan but y'all took Dream? Have you ever regret? And that's how great Dream is. It would have been great to see them in a finals matchup. And I feel like that's one thing that from that era, and Kenny Smith has talked about it. He's always said, like, hey, man, when we played them, we really stepped it up. We were ready for it. We were this.
Now, the second,
shut up, Poppy.
The second three-peat of the Bulls, the Rockets couldn't hang with that Bulls.
Yeah, Sally, you with me?
The Bulls
hey, man,
upgraded.
That was crazy. And Jordan is, you know how great Jordan is? This is how great Jordan is and how much love he gets. When he came back and he dropped that double nickel, everybody was like, oh my gosh, Jordan is back. It's going down. But when he lost to the Magic, oh man, he didn't play all year. He's Jordan is like the dude that he come in the room.
Well, didn't he come back from when his dad had just gotten deleted? His dad had just passed. And then on top of that, he had come in halfway through the season, hasn't he?
He came in around March. He came in later.
Yeah, but he was still going through stuff. He had still the stuff that happened with him. All that stuff carries with you.
I don't want to use the father thing because that is tough. I've lost my father and it's extremely difficult. But he also was playing baseball at that time too. So it wasn't enough that he didn't want to do that. He was doing the literally thing. And if you watch The Last Dance, he said he was fatigued. And if there was a chance that if they come back, even with the same team and all those mileage on them, they probably fall apart. You saw the Warriors.
Michael Jordan, the GOAT, man. Michael Jordan's the GOAT, man.
No, I'm not discouraging you on that. I'm just saying I would rather focus.
Why is it that we give LeBron a pass for when he has to cry to stack his team? He cries to stack his team when he's feeling like he wants to do whatever he wants. Okay. But guess what? The same work ethic that Kobe, who did he get that work ethic from? He got it from Michael Jordan, the GOAT of GOATs.
Now he learned from Michael Jordan. He put the work in himself. Like he put the work in himself, and it's like we give Jordan credit for a lot. We give Jordan for the credit for the design of the shoes, and it's like, dang, bro.
He needs to pave the way. That's more greatness. That's greatness on his resume.
So LeBron's designing the shoes, he's marketing the shoes, he's in the commercials, and he's playing.
And LeBron's shoes are not good basketball shoes. I used to ball up back when I was in high school and college days.
He has no control over that. He has very little control over that. Like Marcus, you got to separate the fact that all right, you don't like LeBron, you don't like LeBron, you don't like LeBron.
Yeah,
I'm just keeping
he's a LeBron hater.
So it's cool.
He's a LeBron hater.
It's cool.
Yes, you are, Puppy. Yes, you are.
It's cool that you don't like him, but it's like you gotta.
No, I'm literally comparing apples to oranges. All right, I'm comparing apples to oranges, and the difference is, LeBron would not have been nothing if it wasn't for Ray Allen saving his legacy.
So Ray Allen
saving his legacy. Ray Allen saving his legacy. Ray Allen saving his legacy.
So
and then you got Game 6 or Game 7 of Kyrie saving his butt when he had to hit that three to close it out
in a tie game.
So John Paxson saved Michael Jordan legacy too. Then
Michael Jordan was carrying that whole team the whole series.
Right. John Paxson hit a three to win the game, and Steve Kerr hit a three to win the game too.
Jordan carried that whole team, that whole series.
Oh, so LeBron didn't carry the thing.
And remember, LeBron got help from the refs and from the NBA and the commission to suspend Draymond on that 2016.
Oh my goodness.
They putting all that weight on that one thing.
I agree that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, bro. I know that. I've been saying that. But however, give LeBron his respect. Talk about Ray Allen save his legacy. If we're gonna go there, if we're gonna go there, if we're gonna then John Paxson saved Michael Jordan legacy then. Steve Kerr saved Michael Jordan legacy then, right? Because they hit a three to win games.
The Bulls had a hell of a team themselves, so Jordan was
they had a super team, bro.
Miss me with that. Man, you
gotta go back and look at the Bulls, man.
Miss me with
Going back to that point we were talking about with my
29. So LeBron averaged 29 points, 29.7. So shade under 30, 11 boards, 8 assists, 2.6 steals, and 2.3 blocks. And in speaking of the block, he actually got the block to stop them from scoring, to keep them in position to
take away the three. Take away the three, and then they win the game.
Take away the three in the game.
Okay, take John Paxson three then. Yo, you cannot make the argument for one person, they make it for the other,
game winner. Give it to Michael Jordan. He'll make the game winner.
He passed the ball to John Paxson, bro.
Oh man,
it don't matter. Michael Jordan.
Don't matter for the
basketball. Okay. If they would have gave Michael Jordan the basketball, he would have shot it and game winner.
Where you going? That game 1 against the Warriors. What was that? 2019?
2017. When he scored 56.
Yeah, LeBron dominated
56, 51.
But he lost that game because of a decision that was made by a teammate.
LeBron scored 51 that game, yeah.
But what he did was J.R. Smith did. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And the
blunder.
They wasn't going to beat that Warriors team. They was too stacked.
Nah.
Yeah, they were still only going to win 1 or 2 games, maybe.
Now, Marcus, I got something for you. And this is something that I harp on with Jordan. And I guess I had a perspective because the GOAT, when everybody talks about who's their personal GOAT or whatever, for my father was Magic Johnson. And he always shut down the argument with what he did.
Yeah, a lot of times it's generational, yeah.
And so generationally, he was like, he played all the positions, he did this, he did that. Other than my father telling me, when Jordan scored 63 points, everybody lives out, other than Celtics fans, leaves out the footnote that he didn't win that game. He did not win that game, but that's my annoyance with the way he's been covered. And it's just like, and they did the Last Dance the same way to be like, this is why he's the GOAT. My brother is 16, never saw Jordan play a live game in his life. He's born in 2005. Bro, he's the GOAT. And everything is about diminishing someone else's legacy and uplifting Jordan. And I'm guilty too, because I still buy the retros. I respect it, but it's just like, bro, let it breathe. Let's enjoy Jason Tatum. Let's enjoy, all these other, and you wonder why the ratings.
Exactly. See all the great performances and game winners we're getting without LeBron.
My thing is with LeBron. LeBron is an icon player, just playing it point blank. But my thing
that hairline is icon.
LeBron is doing something that no other player in history, another icon player in history has done, and that's playing in this era in social media. Everybody has a opinion on LeBron. No other player had to go through that. So literally his game, every single thing on LeBron, except off the court, it still amazes me today how popular this dude is. And you cannot find basically there's not a blemish to his name. So I'm like, I don't know how the hell he did that.
I mean,
But I think
besides the gambling, I mean, Jordan got low. You know what I mean? Everybody talk about the gambling, how he used to like
Jordan,
stay like to 5 in the morning gambling.
But LeBron though, what other? Because the only thing people will bring up about LeBron is the decision. And I think, okay, that's not.
Well, that and the fact that he's lost like 8 times in the finals.
But that's just basketball.
Bro, hold on. Okay, give me a second, bro. Hold on. This is how it is, bro. Give me a second. This is how it is, bro. LeBron was the number 1 draft pick back in 2003, yeah, right? Okay. Straight out of high school, Jordan didn't do that. Cool, no problem. LeBron on 2007,
but it's okay.
Listen, bro. 2007, my man, he dropped 25 points straight on Detroit. This is when Detroit was killing everybody in the East. He got him out of there by himself. Himself, bro. He was a baby. The man was a baby, man. The man was 22 years old, bro. Now, at 22, LeBron James stood. LeBron James. Nah, I was a baby, fan. Jordan didn't do that, fan. Stop it. Now, at 22, the man took the worst thing ever to the finals because the Cavaliers team was the worst. That Cavaliers team was the worst thing ever, bro. To make it to the finals. I don't know which one was worse.
Drew Gooden.
Huh? Exactly. He had that thing was so bad. That thing was so bad that they have. That thing was so bad that they have a nigga that was playing on Love and Hip Hop. I forgot his goddamn name. That let you know how trash that thing was.
Oh, you talking about Boobie Gibson?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So like, listen, man. If you don't like, if you say Jordan better than LeBron,
I like how we moved the goalpost for a guy that's supposed to be the next Michael Jordan, and he doesn't live up to that standard. But all of a sudden, we have to be comforted by saying, "Oh, he was 22.
He lived up to the standard, bro. What are you talking about, man? That man is compared to Jordan, bro. Who else?
Now we got to make it comfortable for him. Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Who else has lived up to that standard, bro? Who else has ever been compared to Jordan? Who?
Kobe?
Nobody.
No, Kobe. Listen, let's keep Kobe. What are you talking about, bro? Let's keep that man.
Now we got to skip Kobe. Okay.
Hold on.
Nobody compared Kobe to Jordan, brother. We went from Michael Jordan.
That's not true. One mic.
It's just.
No, man, because everybody be disrespecting my man LeBron, fan. Let's stop it, yo. Like, yo,
my man. That's your man.
So, okay, listen, bro. So you telling me that Kobe better than LeBron then?
Yes.
To a lot, yes. A lot of people's eyes. Because he did it. Listen, he did it without having to stack a team.
Okay? He got 3 rings for free, bro. Shaquille O'Neal. What are you talking about?
You're not going to compare Pau Gasol,
3 rings for free.
Pau Gasol, Shannon Brown, Trevor Ariza to the players that LeBron was stacking his team with. How many times did LeBron have to cry to the front office and get anybody to play for his team?
Hey, can I get in here?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it, say so.
First off, salute Black Man, salute Sean, salute Dante, salute J Boog, salute Poppy. Doc, you tripping. Doc, my man, you tripping. You talking about moving the goalposts. If anything, LeBron changed the goalposts. Name me somebody that Jordan played against that we hold in deep reverence. I'll wait.
What are you talking about? The players that he played to? The ones that LeBron played to?
I mean, if anything, Jordan's toughest competition was the bad boy Pistons, was it not? He never went to a game 7 in the finals, did he?
He didn't
That's
have
true.
to
Is that
because he was
true?
that
He
good.
never played.
He was
Let me
that
say this
good.
one. He never played. He never played more than 2 Hall of Famers. Never.
He also
Never.
never lost the finals. So what's your point?
My point is that I agree with the point that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, but the competition that if you compare like team by team, bro, LeBron have gone to way more competition than goddamn Michael Jordan, bro. Way more. Harder competition, bro.
In your opinion, bro.
Here,
And
now
that's
I'm
fine.
gonna
All right, okay.
now, Sally,
Bro, I'm telling you the facts. If you go back to see the team by team, all 16 that Michael Jordan team beat up, they only had like 1 Hall of Famer, bro. That's it. LeBron have to go through like at least 2 or 3. Yo, okay, killing the Celtics. They had 3 Hall of Famers in there. LeBron got them out of them. Detroit, they had
You make
Ben
it
Wallace.
seem like Michael Jordan didn't play Hall of Famers in his era.
I just name it to you, bro. Listen, I'm not making it. It's not an opinion. It's just a fact.
John
I just
Stockton
told
trash.
you.
All right, how you doing,
Mailman
Dante?
has the
Sean?
He's
worst
a Hall of
nickname
Famer, though.
all time.
let me get a word real quick. I want to
Yeah.
ask. I want to ask J Boog and I want to ask Sally. When y'all were coming up, I'm just gonna ask you. Did y'all, what era did y'all come up in, and were players diminished for losing in the finals? Because I never heard people trash Magic for losing 4 times in the finals. I always heard he made 9 appearances in 12 years, and I feel like that, as far as being on the mantle of some of the greatest players, he deserves to be there. I feel like Kareem gets disrespected. He doesn't get as much props. And I feel like, look, man, my biggest thing is, hey, bro, while Michael was great, let's shine it on everyone. Like, I mean, he already got the shoes. He a billionaire. Like, he good. Let's shine and respect everyone else, too. That's my thing. I feel like everybody kind of,
and that question is
they shits on everybody else and just uplift Mike. So that's what I had to say on that.
That question was directed to myself.
You go ahead, and you and
go ahead,
Sally.
J Book.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I agree. But those players were like Michael himself. He was a player that always gave homage not only to the players that played before him, really interesting about this but the players after him. And I've never heard Mike ever out of his own mouth say, that's when I knew I was the greatest of all time. Never heard it. So I shut the argument down with that right there. Bro, when have you ever heard any of these great players actually say that out of their own mouth? So I have a problem with that in itself. I'm not saying that LeBron is not a great player. All I'm saying is, dude, come on, man. Are you serious? You gonna step out there with all the great players that came before you and be like, yo, that's when I knew I was the greatest of all time.
That's why I knew he wasn't the greatest when he actually said.
Hell yeah.
I agree.
LeBron's
Hey,
defense.
J Boog, props to that. I totally agree, because that goes right in line with my point. Like, give everybody their respect, even if you feel it. Even if you feel it, you don't say it because
you don't say it, right?
I'm sorry, Jordan lets them print that on them shirts. That the great inspired by it. He don't say it, and sometimes you got to be slick with it like that. Like, he always says he didn't want his number retired across the league. So props to you. I really respect that opinion, and I know. Like,
I cannot let you get away with this, man, because I don't care if LeBron said he was the greatest, because we had Lil Wayne saying something like that. He's the best, and nobody disputed that. So nah, bro. If you feel it, you say it, bro.
Hold on real quick, Pop, because we about to get ready to close on the money. But Sally, go ahead. If I want to hear your opinion.
Let me close this up.
All right. So I was born in 94.
I got here late. My bad.
So I grew up on LeBron. I respect Jordan and everything he did. But my response to J Boog would be, I understand why he could call himself that if since 18 or 16 he was the chosen one. If his nickname is the King, if he's accomplished and compiled more accolades and different things than pretty much everybody, he's accomplished the feat that nobody else has did in the finals. I think he's allowed to say that and feel how he feels. I think he's done some things that Jordan never had to. I think he's carried loads that Jordan never had to. I think he's played with. Jordan has Scottie Pippen, top 75 all time. Not talking about the year after when he retired. They almost made the finals.
Rodman.
Go ahead.
Rodman ain't a top 75 player.
But
yes, he is.
Freak.
I hate. Hold on,
No, he's not.
Yes,
Look up the facts,
I hate to be that dude, because we getting noise from the production team about us getting ready to close it down.
Mhm.
I knew this LeBron MJ debate that takes you to the black hole. Nobody ever gets out.
Yeah.
Shawnee, man, you
That's
know
true.
it's gonna happen.
That's true.
Like,
Sooner or
dude,
later,
this debate will go on
they gonna
until
start
everybody's in the
wars.
grave.
To the end of time.
We need
You're
to have a whole
absolutely right
show
about
on
that.
this.
You know what, Shelly? I wouldn't mind. Matter of fact, if Dante was cool with that, I wouldn't mind doing that next week.
Oh yeah, I'm back. I'm
Yeah,
on Doc.
get it out the system. Let's dedicate a show. Get it out
Don't
the
worry.
system.
Don't worry.
MJ
I'm
versus
decorated.
LeBron.
I'm decorated. I got my medals and badges.
And when we do it, come with
Our
some type
military,
of
baby.
facts.
I'm coming with facts
Marcus,
and statistics,
you
baby.
said,
Yeah.
Marcus, you sat in that whole game 4, game 5 thing. That was your nah.
Man, he
If
talking
we gonna
about
have
his
this,
shoes
if we gonna have this
Listen.
debate,
6-0 versus
ends.
4-8 or whatever, or 4-7. Last I checked, listen, there's a reason why there's levels to this. And I don't know why they want to conflate. He's like a top 4, maybe top 5 player of all time in my eyes.
We're gonna talk about them levels next week.
We got that.
We gonna
Marcus, Poppy,
But-
Jay, Sally, Jay Book. I appreciate y'all contributing to the show.
Yeah,
and tuning
appreciate
in, man.
it.
Y'all brought a lot to it, man. I really appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you for having
Especially
us.
what you said with that and putting it together. Sally, I respect it. You coming up in the era of watching them, because me, for myself, LeBron was in high school. We was in high school at the same time. So I'm with you on the fact of seeing it. It's like, I didn't know he was gonna be that good. Like, I was like, okay, he cool. But it was just like, I didn't see this coming. So it is interesting, but it also is, it's kind of like when you get that young guy, and I had one of my professors tell me this, and when you get that young rapper that came up, and he's gonna make all those mistakes. And he was comparing, he was saying Nas, like Nas came up with the first great album, but then the other ones, it was like he was trying to find his way. And LeBron, while the skills were there, he's made the mistakes, the decision, that comment. I felt like I was the greatest. And he's made some of the dancing that Kareem got on him about, and like some of the things that it's a newer era, and he's done things that the old guard doesn't like. So it's kind of like he's grown up on TV. He was the reason why they made money off of high school sports. He started it. I was like, oh, they play high school games on TV? That was 2002, 2003. So I was like, huh? And then from there, it's a whole business. But that's all I got, man. I sure appreciate y'all, man.
LeBron and the Lakers are crying on the couch right now. Let them
Marcus,
rest.
I appreciate the LeBron hate.
All right.
You
gotta stop.
Peace out.
The hate.
Salute. I will be back.
Yo, salute to the Miami Heat. We about to close out the Sixers next game. Enough said. And Suns gonna beat the Mavs. Let's just get that out the way. Luka Doncic is gonna need a cane after the game. That's all I'm saying.
He said,
Bro, look up and play by
by the way,
himself.
before we close out, I like Luka Doncic, so don't nobody get it twisted. All right, he makes the Mavs great. Enough said.
The Heat can't beat the Bucks. The Heat can't beat the Bucks or the Celtics.
Of course, man. Giannis is gonna give him leg cramps. All right, we done.
We'll be back next week. We'll be back.
Let's see y'all boys next week. Yeah, appreciate it.
Sir.
Black Man Unfiltered Network, 1-on-1 Sports Show, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Tune in next week, man.
Please subscribe, people. Subscribe to my man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that, man.